Happy Tuesday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. It is Tuesday, August the 11th. My name is Caroline. Welcome back. Daily crafty chat videos. I'm looking a little tired today for very good reason. We had some really big thunderstorms roll through last night, and it's been a while since I've been up here on my own with Nicholas. So on my own as the main responsible person, and had storms like that roll through. And a couple of things combined have make them a little bit not anxiety producing, but it causes me to wake up and not sleep very well when they're happening, because first of all, they're extremely loud. I find that being up here, everything is so quiet, so normally quiet all the time, that when it's regular weather, I sleep very, very soundly. But when the storms roll through, they seem amplified somehow by the quietness of everything else. And so the wildness of the weather is, it always wakes me up. And so we had, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 storms roll through. And of course, because it's so dark, usually, depending on the moon, the phase of whatever moon we're in, it's very, very dark. And so lightning from far, far away lights up the whole sky. So even though the storm isn't maybe upon you, the sky will be lighting up with lightning that is happening farther away, and then it gets closer and the sky gets brighter, and then when the lightning, and when the thunder gets closer and you can hear the thunder more, closely overhead, it's really quite wild. And then, the rain that accompanied at least one of those storms last night was a deluge. And of course, it's also quite loud. And so it was a rather disturbed night of sleep. The second reason why, especially up here when I'm on my own, even when the whole family is here, when we have storms like this roll by, the last, probably, well, Daria, our golden retriever, who passed away last summer, in the last 4 years of her life, 4 or 5 years of her life, she, so for the first few years that we had her, there wasn't any problem at all with thunderstorms. And then her hearing very gradually started to change, and she started to lose her hearing, and thunderstorms, lightning especially, started to really, really bother her. And she would become extremely agitated and pacing and panting and, shaking. And it was, of course, she would always come to me. And so she would be standing right next to me, right beside my bed, panting fast in my face. It's pretty hard to sleep through that. And of course, anxious and terrified, and wanting to not be, she would crawl into your skin if she could have. That's how afraid she was. And I mean, we tried everything. And then in the end, the one thing that ended up working was, believe it or not, we would take her into the bathroom. I would take her into the bathroom, and I would just wait until she calmed down, because if she couldn't see it, then she wouldn't be quite so scared. I don't know whether it was a combination of the fact that she could see the lightning and she could feel the floorboards shake. Anyways, enough about that. I promise this is a crafty channel. I am going to talk about crafting, and I have actually been knitting while I've been chatting with you. So this is I needed something bright and cheerful this morning. So the brightest thing that I am working on knitting right now at the moment is my Fruity Pebble sock. So this is a Leo and Roxy yarn. It's not named. A viewer very kindly named it for me, and I just think it's the perfect name. Fruity Pebbles yarn. It's Leo and Roxy. It was a Sock of the Month Club selection from 2019. Leo and Roxy is a local to me yarn dyer. Wonderful, wonderful yarns. And there's their tag. They are also the owners of the Little Red Mitten Yarn Shop in St. Thomas, Ontario, which is a beautiful shop. And I haven't been there in far too long. Okay, so yesterday I put up a shop update, and at the end of the shop update, I had mentioned that I didn't have time yesterday to put up a second crafty video because I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to edit in all of the photos for what I wanted to share with you today and be able to take my time and share with you a stitch along that I am going to be joining in with. So I am not affiliated with this stitch along in any way, shape, or form. I'm not hosting it, running it, organizing it, nothing. But you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to participate in it. So I received an email last week from Janice at Traditional Stitches. Traditional Stitches is a local yarn shop in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So, you know, I am Canadian, and the fact that this is a very, very special stitch along that is going to be happening to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Traditional Stitches being in business, which I can tell you, John and I have both been in retail for our entire adult lives and self-employed. And I can tell you this, Janice, a huge congratulations to you on achieving 20 years of running a small business. That's a wonderful accomplishment, and I'm sure you must be just so very proud. So congratulations, first of all, on your 20th anniversary. Now, second of all, many of you probably will have already seen photos of the stitch along that is going to take place at the beginning of October is when it is starting. And this is an exclusive stitch along to Traditional Stitches, and it is being, it was designed by Nicola Parkman of Hands Across the Sea Samplers. So many of you who already follow Nicola and already know and love the Hands Across the Sea charts and sampler design work that Nicola does, I'm sure you've probably already seen the Ann Morrison sampler. That is the exclusive chart available only through Traditional Stitches and will be the focus of the exclusive Traditional Stitches 2020 Ann Morrison stitch along that I am totally on board with. Janice had emailed me last week to let me know about the sampler and the fact that there was going to be a stitch along, and would I like a copy of the chart, and would I like a copy of the chart for giveaway. And I said, well, yes, of course. I mean, that sounds fantastic. And then because I've been up here with no internet until last Friday, I hadn't seen Nicola's video that she put out of this beautiful sampler. And I also hadn't come across any Instagram posts of it. So I was completely in the dark about this sampler. So I'm really glad that Janice pointed it out. And then I looked at the chart, and then I saw that there's a Facebook group for the stitch along, that the stitch along is going to take place over an entire year. So it's not like a fast turnaround. It's not a huge sampler, and Morison is what I feel like it's a sort of medium-sized sampler. It's not tiny, it's not huge. It's just that nice kind of in-between size. And it's being, the stitch along is being run by Rose Heck. And those of you who watch the whip parades at the end will have seen Rose's work right here on these videos I've shared several times. She was the one piece that, well, a couple of pieces that Rose has done have really stuck out in my mind. The first one being the 12 Days of Christmas, not 12 Days of Christmas, the Prairie Schooler alphabet. You know, the one that all of those individual charts and She's done it all on one piece of fabric. And that was the one chart, that was the one whip that I actually gave up on because it is so overwhelming to me. And I am the one who chooses the biggest of the big projects. And even this was just like completely overwhelming. It's so massive. She has finished it. She has it framed now just recently, and it's glorious. She also, because she's Canadian, she is the one who, when I was originally considering stitching this, I was kind of keeping an eye on what Rose was doing with the letter D, because she changed the letter D in the Prairie Schooler alphabets is charted for American stitchers, and there's an American eagle, a bald eagle, and I believe the American flag is in the drum, and Rose recharted it to have and include her Alberta provincial flag in the drum, and also if I'm not mistaken, she changed the eagle into a red-tailed hawk. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rose, but I'm pretty sure I've got the details on that right. And it was fantastic. I mean, what a great conversion. I am always so impressed at the ingenuity of stitchers to change things to make them appropriate for yourself. I think that's stunning. And so I've always been an admirer of Rose's work. The other piece that sticks out in my mind is the Amy Mitten Canadian piece. And it's the one that is done with amazingly unique indigenous items like porcupine quills, moose hair, you know, things like that. And just really, really cool design. Really, it must have just been such an interesting stitch, and it's beautiful. I did include that a number of weeks ago in the Whip Parade, and so if you remember that, think back, that's the Rose that I'm talking about. So Rose Heck is leading the Stitch Along group on Facebook, and she has apparently broken down the sampler into 12 parts. So each month, the sort of idea to, you know, keep it fun, keep it moving along, is that each month we'll work on one of those 12 parts. And then a year from now, beginning of October 2021, we should have a finished sampler. And to sweeten the deal, Nicola Parkman herself is offering up a prize for anyone who finishes the sampler by the beginning of October next year. She's actually offering a giveaway of a traditional Scottish sampler from her own collection. I know. And I watched her video. And in it, Nicola says, and I'm paraphrasing, but she says something like, and why couldn't it be you? Maybe it could be you who wins the sampler. And I'm like, she's talking to me. She's talking to me. I could win the sampler if I just, you know, follow along and get the stitch along done. Will I complete it in time? I don't know. But I'll tell you, a sampler from Nicola's private collection is a pretty sweet prize. So let me make sure that I remember to tell you everything that I had to tell you. I actually made notes today. Now, can I find those notes? Yes, I can. Here they are. Okay. Oh, one more thing. So Rose Heck is leading the stitch along, but the model stitch that's being shown in all the photographs, that was stitched by Angela Bulbeck, and another name that I know. I tell you, this community, once you start to see people's names and you attach it to the work that they do and, you know, comments that they leave you, emails they send you, it's such a nice feeling to feel like, you know, we're all just connected. And so knowing that Angela, another Canadian, has stitched the model for this design makes it just that much sweeter. So a note about purchasing the materials. So like I said, Janice of Traditional Stitches offered to send me a chart. And again, she offered, and it's not just a chart, it's like a proper Hands Across the Sea booklet with all of the fancy information inside, you know, Traditional Stitches 20th anniversary stitch alongs, you know, special information that's exclusive for the stitch along. It looks like it's quite a nice production. And if you're familiar with Nicola's Hands Across the Sea booklets, and I've only ever had one in my possession, and that was the Ufendel Sisters, which I sold for raising money for muscular dystrophy. So I never actually ended up stitching those charts myself, but I do feel like the money from those charts went to a good cause. But I did have a look at the book. The quality of these charts is outstanding. So I will include a link to both Traditional Stitches in the drop down box below, the Facebook group that you can join. I just joined it this morning. And also a link to Nicola Parkman's video as well, where she shows you in great detail both the sampler itself and the giveaway sampler as well. So like I said, I did say Janice offered to send me the chart and a chart for giveaway. But then, like I said, I really wanted to be in on actually the stitching of this while it's being, you know, enjoyed and celebrated. So I went on to Traditional Stitches website and I purchased myself the fabric and the threads for the design itself. And so I chose the 46 count linen and the 100, I'm gonna get this wrong because I've never worked with this before. It is the 103 silks from Oswaover. Is that correct? 103, am I saying that right? So anyways, I'm really excited to try this silk because the way that it comes is on a spool, and it's single ply, but it's a little bit plumper than single ply regular silk. And so you just pull off the one strand off the spool and off you go. No separating of strands, so on and so forth. Side note, I was just on Traditional Stitches website this morning. They are sold out now of some of the colors of the 103 silk required for this chart. So if that's the way you'd like to go, you may have to wait for a little bit for your colors a little bit later into the, like maybe even into November, until you might receive some of those colors, just so that you're aware. But if you go on Traditional Stitches website and you click the link that takes you to all of the information about this stitch along, make sure you read everything that's on that listing because it's very, very well explained, everything that's going to happen. Nothing is shipping out until the end of August, in between August 31st and September 4th. So that's when all of the pre-orders for this special stitch along are going to be shipped out. And again, in Canada, we are experiencing some delays within our postal system, as is the case in many parts of the world at this particular moment. So we might need to be a little bit patient with some of these orders coming through. So one more thing before I talk about the giveaway at the end. Another side note, Traditional Stitches also, a little plug for my own stitch along that I am hosting that's going to be starting at the end of October, and I'm going to have some more information about that next week. Maybe a few prizes, maybe an exact start date, a little bit more information on the 3 charts that I have to give away from Jeanette Douglas. Then stay tuned next week, and I'll try to remember to pop in on the screen cap of the days that I talk about it. And Traditional Stitches, they carry the Jeanette Douglas patterns and supplies and all of that needed. So if you would like to participate in my stitch along, you know, feel free to possibly be further enabled while you're on their website. So, okay, chart giveaway. So I don't have it in my possession because this chart is going to ship directly from Traditional Stitches to the winner, and it will be leaving their shop at the very end of August. Okay, so I can show you a photo of it, and but I don't actually have the physical chart here to share with you today. So this is going to be another YouTube giveaway because I know it's the easiest way for me to have the most number of people leave me a comment in order to be entered for the draw. The Jeanette Douglas charts that I have to give away, I have 3 of those, and they will take place in 3 locations. So if you never are able to leave a comment on YouTube, you might have a chance to win a Jeanette Douglas chart next week. I will also be hopefully starting back up the Because Monday giveaways next Monday over on the Facebook group. So I'll do my best to have giveaways happening in a few different places, because I know not everybody can, they watch maybe on their TV and they don't always remember to come back and leave a comment on YouTube. And not everybody has Facebook and not everybody has Instagram. So we'll try to spread out the love. So to finish up this giveaway for today, to win a beautiful copy of the Ann Morrison Special Edition Hands Across the Sea chart, you will want to leave me a comment on this video, and I'm going to be looking for the 2 words traditional stitches in your comment. So make sure you've got the spelling right, because that's how I look for the winner. I type in the keywords and then I hunt for the comment that wins. So traditional stitches is your key in order to be entered to have a chance to win that beautiful, beautiful book from Janice at Traditional Stitches. Okay, so don't forget to leave me a comment today. If you're watching this on the TV and you really want a chance to win, make sure you come back on your device later. That will let you leave a comment, and then we'll have some fun with that. So I'm going to draw a winner for that from 1 week from today, because in case you missed a couple of videos last week, I have a couple other special giveaways also happening at the same time. So just a little heads up, if you are a fan of Teresa Kogut, Pet All the Dogs, and also Bygone Stitches, the Quaker Christmas, you might want to check out a video from last Thursday. The other giveaway that I have currently still open is the video from last Friday, where I talked about the new app, Silk Stitching and Historistikmuster. I do have a giveaway in that video as well for a code for a pattern for within the app itself, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Christmas chart. So 2 videos from last week, just in case you missed them. One from Thursday has 2 charts that are being offered for giveaway, and on Friday there's a giveaway on that video as well for the app code for the pattern. So last week's Thursday and Friday video, I'll try to remember to put a link down below, but I don't think that they're hard videos to find. I have been working quite diligently on my Smalls Exchange for Kimberly H that I am needing to have in the mail by the beginning of September. And I will be spending a large chunk of my afternoon this afternoon working on that. I had a big shop update yesterday, so I think I'm going to take a couple of hours just to relax with Nicholas, maybe brew up a few extra cups of coffee this afternoon, so to help keep my eyes open and put some work into that piece. And then tonight I hope to spend an hour on my Glendon Place Hope and Strength stitch along, which I will share tomorrow. Okay, so that's it. So take care, everybody. Happy stitching, and I'll see you tomorrow.